Welcome to the evidence room. I'm bringing you inside some of the most perplexing unsolved cases in modern history. Today, we're examining a case that has confounded investigators for 2 decades. On February 9, 2004, a young nursing student crashed her car on a rural New Hampshire road. When police arrived just minutes later, she had vanished without a trace. No body, no witnesses, no answers. This is case file Maura Murray. First of all, who was Maura Murray? Let's start with the victim. Maura Murray was a 21-year-old nursing student at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. The evidence shows she was intelligent, athletic, and driven. She had run track in high school and was described by friends and family as hardworking and reliable. But in the days before her disappearance, the evidence suggests something was wrong. Multiple witnesses reported that Maura seemed distressed and distracted. On February 5th, just 4 days before she vanished, Maura was working her campus security job when she received a phone call. What happened next is documented by her supervisor. Maura broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. She was so distraught that her supervisor had to escort her back to her dormitory. The contents of that phone call? Still unknown. This is our first piece of evidence that something was deeply troubling Maura Murray in the days before she disappeared. On the day she disappeared, let's examine the evidence from February 9, 2004, the day Maura Murray vanished. The timeline begins that Monday morning. Maura sent emails to her professors and her work supervisor. The content? A fabricated story about a death in the family, claiming she would need to be away for several days. Here's the evidence. There had been no death in the family. This was a deliberate lie. Next, surveillance footage and witness statements place Maura packing up her dorm room that morning. She took most of her belongings with her: clothes, toiletries, textbooks. Bank records show she withdrew nearly all her available funds, $280 in cash. ATM footage and store receipts confirm her next stop: a local liquor store where she purchased several bottles of alcohol. By 3:30 p.m., witnesses confirm Maura left campus in her black Saturn sedan, loaded with her belongings, school materials, and the alcohol she'd just purchased. Her destination? Unknown. She told no one where she was going. This is critical evidence. Maura Murray's actions that day were deliberate and premeditated. The question is, what was she planning? Let's talk about the car accident. At approximately 7:27 p.m., Maura Murray's black Saturn crashed on Route 112 in Woodsville, New Hampshire, roughly 140 miles north of her campus. Let's examine the crash scene evidence. The road conditions were treacherous, icy, and poorly lit. Physical evidence shows her vehicle struck a tree and spun out, coming to rest facing the wrong direction on the roadway. The damage was significant, but not catastrophic. Here's where our witness testimony becomes crucial. A local bus driver named Butch Atwood was returning home when he came upon the accident scene. He stopped to offer assistance. His testimony describes encountering a young woman at the scene, presumably Maura Murray. He asked if she needed help or wanted him to call police. According to Atwood's statement, the woman appeared shaken but coherent. She refused his assistance, claiming she had already called AAA for a tow truck. Phone records later proved this was false. Her cell phone showed no outgoing calls. Atwood, concerned for the woman's safety, drove to his home less than a mile away and immediately called 911. That call came in at 7:27 p.m. Police arrived at the crash scene at 7:46 p.m. That's a window of just 19 minutes. In those 19 minutes, Maura Murray disappeared. Here, the investigation comes now. Let's examine the physical evidence police discovered at the scene. When officers arrived, they found Maura's Saturn locked, with deployed airbags and a cracked windshield. Inside the vehicle, investigators cataloged the following evidence: Maura's personal belongings, including clothing and textbooks, the alcohol she had purchased. Several bottles had spilled inside the vehicle. A printed MapQuest directions sheet showing a route to Burlington, Vermont. Her cell phone, which showed no recent outgoing calls. No sign of Maura Murray. Additional evidence: a small amount of blood was detected on the driver's side door, consistent with injuries from airbag deployment. However, there was no evidence of a struggle, no signs of foul play at the immediate scene. The vehicle's doors were locked from the outside. Initially, law enforcement treated this as a standard DUI investigation. Their working theory: Maura had fled the scene to avoid arrest for drunk driving. Given the alcohol in her car and her refusal of help, this seemed plausible. But as hours turned into days with no sign of Maura, the case classification changed to a missing persons investigation. K-9 units were brought in. The search dogs tracked Maura's scent approximately 100 yards east down Route 112. Then the trail went cold. The dogs lost her scent completely. This evidence suggests one of two scenarios. Either Maura entered the woods at that point, or she got into a vehicle. Segment of evidence and theories. Over the past 20 years, investigators and independent researchers have developed several theories based on the available evidence. Let's examine each one. Theory 1. Death by exposure. This theory suggests Maura ran into the surrounding woods and succumbed to the harsh February elements. Temperature records show it was well below freezing that night. Evidence supporting this theory: the K-9 trail leading toward the woods, her apparent desire to avoid police, the treacherous winter conditions. Evidence against this theory: extensive ground searches found no trace of human remains. Cadaver dogs showed no alerts. Thermal imaging helicopters detected nothing. 20 years of seasonal searches have yielded no physical evidence. Theory 2. Intentional disappearance. Some investigators believe Maura deliberately vanished to start a new life. Evidence supporting this theory: her suspicious behavior in the days before, lying to professors, withdrawing money, packing belongings. The possible psychological distress evidenced by the phone call incident. No body has ever been found. Evidence against this theory: no financial activity on her bank account since that night, no cell phone activity, no documented sightings despite extensive media coverage. She left behind her most important belongings, including identification. Theory 3. Foul play. This is currently considered the most likely scenario by many investigators. The theory? Maura accepted a ride from someone with malicious intent. Evidence supporting this theory: the abrupt end to the K-9 trail suggests she entered a vehicle. The 19-minute window between Atwood's call and police arrival, the isolated rural location, her vulnerable state following the accident. Several individuals have been investigated as potential suspects over the years. One man who lived nearby became a person of interest after investigators uncovered his violent criminal history. However, no physical evidence linked him to Maura's disappearance, and he was never charged. Other potential suspects have been examined, but the lack of physical evidence has prevented any arrests. In conclusion, 20 years later, the evidence in the Maura Murray case remains inconclusive. What we know for certain: Maura Murray was troubled in the days before her disappearance. She deliberately left campus under false pretenses. She crashed her car on a remote New Hampshire road. She vanished within a 19-minute window. No conclusive physical evidence of her fate has ever been found. What remains unknown? Where was Maura going that day? Why did she lie about the family emergency? What happened in those 19 minutes after the crash? Is Maura Murray still alive? The case remains officially open and active. The New Hampshire State Police Cold Case Unit continues to investigate new leads as they emerge. If you have any information about the disappearance of Maura Murray, please contact the New Hampshire State Police. This has been the Evidence Room. If you found this investigation valuable, please subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into unsolved cases. Click that notification bell so you never miss a new investigation. Until next time, keep questioning, keep investigating, and remember, the evidence never lies. Subscribe and click bell icon to get notified for the next videos. The end.